No, I'm not going to be cooking breakfast. This is for crafting and for crafting only. And I'll show you what I'm going to be making with it. Hi, this is Denise of PaperKraftD, and I am jumping on the Mini Pancake Maker bandwagon. There are some really cool techniques that you can do with this little baby. So stick around, we'll explore it together. Now I'm going to go ahead and unbox this so you can see everything that you get. And this was only like $10. So very, very affordable. Oh my gosh, look how freaking cute this thing is. It is very well packaged. It says Dash on the top. Look how tiny it is. Oh my gosh, it is adorable. This little guy has a non-stick surface, but regardless, I want to cut a little protective mat out of this really old Tim Holtz craft sheet that I have. You can see it has holes and it's seen better days, so I figured this is a good one to use for this purpose. The only 4-inch diameter circle that I had was a scalloped one, so that's what I'm going to use. And today I'm going to be making charms from shrink film. I couldn't find it at my local Michael's. I only could find it at Hobby Lobby, and it's not called Shrinky Dinks. This is by Graphics. And if you can find number 6 plastic, sometimes you find it in packaging for foodstuffs and you wash it out, you can use that as well. So I'm looking through my dies to find ones that will make really cool looking charms. These are Elizabeth Craft Design dies, but you can use whatever you have. So I set about arranging my dies in such a way that they would maximize the amount of cuts, and I wouldn't waste any of the shrink film. But I'll be honest with you, I had some difficulty finding a sandwich that gave me a nice, crisp, clean cut. I found that the shrink film alone did not seem to cut very well, and it's a very brittle substrate. So I found that, you know, using other some cardstock along with it worked a little bit better. But I finally came upon a sandwich that I think really works well, and that is to put the shrink film on top of the cardstock and then arrange the dies on top of the shrink film. And you can actually tape them down with some painter's tape. The adhesive doesn't make the shrink plastic all sticky and weird. It comes right off. So this seemed to work for the majority of the dies, but for some of the larger intricate dies like the keys, which are what I was wanting the most, it just didn't always or consistently work, and I would get some tearing. So I'm going ahead and trying to do those individually and not do them in a group, just cut them by themselves. So I'm trying it with just one die, and I did find that I still had to tape it down because it would shift even though it's just a single die. As you can see here, I am going forward and then coming back toward myself. I found that it slipped just enough that it didn't give me a real crisp image. So I found that just going through it once in one direction is really the best way to do it. Yeah, I think that gives a nice cleaner cut. Good. Okay. Okay, so when you have little pieces like this arrow, for example, can you see it? But I just took this little page flag and I punched a hole the size that I wanted, in this case the 1/8 inch hole punch from this We Are Memory Keepers thing. And so you see how I lined that up on there? And now all I have to do is hold the end of this, put this in here, and find the hole. So, you know, I don't have the hole, Now I've got the hole right there. And then, can you see that? Then punch. And that gives you the hole exactly where you want it. Before I plug in my new little pancake maker, I want to protect my surface. I'm going to use, I just got this craft mat at Five Below, and I think they're just for kids, honestly, but I think it'll work for my purposes. It's just a little silicone mat. It has this little, I think this is like a cup for water. I'm not exactly sure how that's supposed to work. Oh, look at that. That's clever. So there's this little cup for water right here, and then it has a lid so you don't accidentally spill it. Now that is a very clever design. Look at that. Later. But this mat is huge. It's 16 inches by 20 inches. It doesn't feel like it's getting super hot under there, but I still think I'm going to put this cheap little mat underneath here just to protect my surface underneath. I have a whole bunch of different embossing powders here. I have some Adirondack terracotta. I don't think I ever even opened this one. I have so many embossing powders. Most of them I haven't even used. This is a Distress embossing powder vintage photo. I thought those might look nice together. And then some of this Ranger Queen's Gold, which is a little bit more of a antique-y gold look. I've got this Ranger Antiquities Verdigris. This is one of my absolute favorite embossing powders of all time. I think that's so beautiful. And then this is dating me. I've got this Judikins Rustique Patina Bronze embossing powder. I don't even know if they make that anymore. I've also got some Versamark. I've got this sweet little spatula that's silicone, but I think I need a little metal spatula to get this thing out. So I'm running. Oh wait, here's one right here. Here we go. I'll start with the key, I guess. Just gonna press this into here. I don't want to get it all over my fingers. All right, let's see if we can get both sides at once, or if I've got to do this in 2 stages. Because I do want both sides of this to be embossed. Okay. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness, it's so small. And it's really nice and flat. That's very cool. Look at how cute that is. Let's do this guy. Oh my gosh, that was quick. But it's got like this coating around the edges, which I want to take off, but it's still pretty pliable, so I can take it off just with my fingers. So that's actually kind of nice. This one turned out great. Look at how cute that one is. Oh my gosh. I apologize for being a bit out of frame for this, but while the embossing powder is still warm, I'm just removing the excess embossing powder from around the edges of each of these keys and making sure the holes don't have excess embossing powder as well. This worked really well for the green one, but for the brown one, I'm realizing that I just put way too much embossing powder and it's really even hard to see the shape of the key. I wonder if I can get some of this embossing powder off just by putting it back on here, heating it up a little bit more. There we go. All right, that's better. Yeah, it looks more like a key now, I'd say. All right. Now, so yeah, it looks like a key, but okay, so just a little bit of terracotta. I'm gonna add less this time. See what happens. And then maybe a little bit of the gold. And I'm just kind of going for a rusty look on this. Okay, and then I'm just gonna do a little bit of this vintage photo. All right, I might want more of the rust after this, but let's see, we'll see. Oh my goodness, look at that. Okay, that got a lot of white in it for some reason. I'm not sure where that white's coming from. Okay, so I kind of like that, but I kind of want a little bit more of the terracotta on there. So I'm gonna just add a little bit more of the terracotta here. Just close it for a sec. Just to get it a little warmer. Hey, you know what? Maybe it's that, maybe it's the terracotta that's making it white. That's interesting. I don't know why it would be doing that. So now I'm trying one just with the gold, and that turns out pretty good. But again, I'm not entirely satisfied because the shape of the key is kind of obscured by the thickness of the embossing powder. So I'm just trying to reheat it and take off some of the embossing powder, and you can see there's still embossing powder on the mat, so I'm picking up some of that. So, you know, I'm getting interesting effects, but I'm not entirely satisfied with the results from embossing powder alone. So next I decided to try some Copic markers. I'm using these 3 different colors, kind of a brown, a gray, and a blue-green. And I'm choosing the lighter colors because I know when it shrinks, the colors will get darker. That was really quick. And you can kind of see what that looks like. I mean, it's still very translucent, which isn't quite the look I'm going for. So I'm not absolutely thrilled with it being translucent. That's just not the look I'm going for with these keys. I do like that this has a lot of definition because you aren't adding the bulk from the embossing powders. But again, this is just really light and it's translucent, so I'm adding some more color from the Copics, and I also try some gold Sharpie to add a little bit more color. But again, it's not giving me the results that I want, so I'm going to have to try some other stuff. I wonder how this foundry wax would work. Let's see, I'll add a little drop here. And this stuff is meant to be heated with the heat gun. So I'm thinking heating it on the mini pancake maker should work really well. Okay. So yeah, you do definitely get that metallic, cool metallic sheen with this foundry wax. That is just very cool looking, I'd say. So in my search for something that's going to give me an opaque look on these charms, I thought I'd try some Distress Oxide. So I dip the shrink plastic into the Distress Oxide. I cover both sides of it, and I put it on the mini pancake maker. It goes ahead and it shrinks just fine, and it looks really good, but I discovered that the Distress Oxide pigment ink does not really dry after it's heated on this plastic. So that wasn't really a great option without doing something further. So I thought I'd try sealing it with some clear embossing powder before I shrink it. So I just dip it into the pigment ink, the Distress Oxide on both sides, and then I cover the whole thing with some clear embossing powder, and that does indeed seal the pigment ink onto the shrink plastic, and it will dry that way, and it'll stay, the color will stay. So that's a great option if you really don't care about the thickness. But again, for the keys, I didn't really want to be adding embossing powder to them because I just felt like that added a lot of bulk that I didn't want. So I'm still searching for some other solutions. Okay, so I'm just adding some of this foundry wax, trying to anyway, to some of these pieces, just to see if I can come up with a little bit different look that has more detail, but you know, some different opaque colors. All right. Oh, don't want to mess that up and have it go out of shape. All right, that's looking kind of interesting. I can add more in a little bit if I want. Let's see what's going on with this. All right, this has a nice coating of embossing powder on it now, and the color is not coming off. So yeah, so if you seal in the color with some clear embossing powder, you can colorize this with some Distress Oxide, and then you get kind of an opaque colors going on there. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see what this looks like. With the foundry wax, I got a nice opaque finish with kind of like a distressy look on both sides. So that's kind of interesting. So this one was just plain embossing powder, and you can see that turned out really pretty. the back is a little flat. So I love the way this one turned out. This is gold foundry wax over the top of the terracotta embossing powder. I think it also had some of the gold and vintage photo distress embossing powder as well. So I'm switching gears a bit, and I'm colorizing this little camera with some basically Sharpie marker. I think this was a Bic permanent marker. I'm coloring it on both sides because I want it to be a really, really dark and full coverage black. And I love the way this one turns out. That is just too cute. Oh my gosh. Look how cute that is. Oh my gosh, that is adorable. That is adorable. And I just used the little excess and just rubbed it on this other one. And I'm just going to close it for a moment just to get it nice and shiny. And well, maybe it needs another moment. Oh, look at this little camera. Isn't that the cutest little thing you've ever seen? Oh my gosh. All right. So yeah, that's nice and shiny now. That's looking pretty cool too. I love this little camera. I adore this little keyhole. Oh my gosh, this little keyhole turned out so cute. So cute. All right, so I'm just going to color this key in brown, see how that one turns out. And like I did the other one, the little camera, I'm just using a Sharpie. I'm going to do both sides of this because I really want a nice solid brown look.
Circle. How big is this?
There we go.
So if you're in centimeters, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, that's about 6 millimeters.
Okay, so here is just the little key, and if you can see, if you turn it sideways, it's kind of you know, transparent that direction. So I'm going to go over the sides a little bit with some more of the brown stays on, or the Sharpie. Yeah, so I'm just going to go around the edges like this. Just to kind of get those. And then I might add a little bit of some of the foundry wax. I actually really like that effect, and I think it'll be really pretty with this brown. And I care about the fact that this is transparent on the sides because I'm going to be using this as a charm, so I don't really want that effect. I want it to be, you know, opaque on all the different sides. So now you can kind of see that took care of that. All right, I think I'm just going to add a tiny bit of foundry wax to this. So a little bit of the mind and a little bit of the gold. There we go. And let's see, I think I'm just gonna kind of, I don't want to dredge it all the way through, but just kind of get a little bit on there. All right. And just put that on there for a moment. Doesn't really need that much. All right, I'm gonna use up this foundry wax on here with this before it dries up. Okay, I think that's more than enough for the foundry wax. Okay. Come on, why are you not getting on this little spot right here? I want you to be on that spot. There we go. All right. Done that first, but whatever. Oh my gosh, look at how cool that looks. I love that. I am loving that. Okay, and then you can see this little so it doesn't have any of the brighter gold. Might even do another layer. Let's see, I'm gonna add just a tiny little bit of gold on here. Yeah. Just feel like it needs some more gold. A little bit more bright color on here. Okay, so you can see those three turned out super cool. The little round ones almost turned out like little seed beads. So those are kind of fun. Okay, let's just straighten that out. Put that down nice and flat. Yeah, I think that looks really good. Need to be on the actual flat surface here. This is somewhat pliable right now. So yeah, you can see that that just has some cool color variation now. It's a little off to the side. I think I'm going to put it on here just to flatten it back out a little bit. Okay. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to set it over here where it's a little flatter. So I used those key charms in this glue pin for my art glitter glue because I kept losing the top to it, so I needed something that was a bit more substantial. And I have to say, I love the way these keys turned out. I am absolutely in love. I am super excited to be using this on a day-to-day basis. And I hope that you enjoyed this process video with me. I'm going to be doing more experimenting. I did more experimenting on the day that I filmed this, but this video is getting kind of long, so I figured I will cut it off here. And if you're interested in more techniques with the little mini pancake maker, let me know in the comments below. I'm always happy to share what I've learned and what I've found success with, because it is a process of trial and error. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment in the description box below. It really, really does help my channel get seen. And if you like this kind of content, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. Again, this is Denise the PaperKraftD, and craft on.